why they were the best thing to ever happen to you. And angry with me. There was this time that he broke his, hear me out, boldness to leave that relationship. Next bae, next beau. You're at that stage of remembering how it was, or maybe you should have forgotten that you were this sort of girl that was before you turn back, and you're this pillar of salt of stagnancy. Your ex used to love flowers, but this person doesn't love flowers, and those are the times you just spoke down on me. You can't love a person the same way you love the other person. Your ex isn't your next. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ambi C. Essen. If this is your first time of logging into my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. So today I'll be talking about how your exes isn't your nexes. I know that's not a word, but hear me out. Nexus in the case of next bae, next beau, next relationship, not nexus in regards to next ex. So your exes aren't your nexes, and your nexes aren't your exes, or shall we say your exes aren't your next bees, like next baes. But for the purpose of this video, I'll be using nexes and exes because it sounds like, or maybe I'll say your next isn't your ex and your ex isn't your next. Okay, that sounds good. But anyways, so usually when we move on from a certain relationship, we're usually tempted to rebound in the sense of going back or rebound to the next person without actually taking time to heal. For this video, I'll be talking about rebounding back to your ex and another scenario that I would explain in a minute. So for whatever reason that we decide to break up or leave our past relationship, you might not agree with me, but I believe that when you say that it's over with a certain person, for whatever reason it should be over. Well, I think there are a few exemptions. Maybe the reason why you left the person isn't as concrete. Example, he uses his toothbrush for about 3 years, 2 years, or maybe so many examples. Think of the most silly things or silly reasons you've left somebody. But usually, sometimes we hide behind the fact that behind that silly reason, it might be more to it than that thing or that reason that we give that we left the person for, if you get what I mean. But there are big reasons. There are very obvious reasons why shouldn't think of going back. Example, abuse, physical, emotionally, all round sort of abuse. Someone that's manipulative, that you felt that you changed from who you were before. Maybe you were a goal happy person, excited person, and you become this kind of person that's always careful, always withdrawn. Thankfully, you gain the courage, you gain the stamina, you gain the boldness to leave that relationship. But because you're so used to that person being around, maybe you've been dating that person for a number of years, you're so used to that person being around, and so to you it's like, how can you cope? You've forgotten how you were before that person came into your life, and so you decide that, okay, maybe a few days into your healing process, you've gone to day 1 after the breakup, day 2, day 3, the stages of healing taking place, and you're at that stage of remembering how it was, or remembering and thinking and beating yourself and saying, maybe it wasn't that bad, maybe she wasn't that bad, maybe I was the one at fault, maybe I would have just given another chance. And that stage of maybe should I, okay, could I want to do this, and you get tempted, and that temptation leads you to action in the sense that you go back and say, okay, I think I want to come back to your life, I'm sorry about what I did, please give me another chance and whatnot. And for some reason he or she accepts you back, but deep down you know that leaving was your best decision, but because you can't, your heart, or you think your heart isn't strong enough to go through that healing process of cutting ties, it might be difficult because you've gotten used to that person being around for a certain number of years or even a few months, and you've forgotten that you were this sort of girl that was outgoing, outspoken, really energetic, and all of a sudden you become this other person and you feel like this is your new self. It's difficult to break out of and go back to that person you were. It will take time, but I believe it's better to regrow or into that person that you were, instead of going back because you're used to that place that was a safe space for you but wasn't a safe space for you. So your exes aren't your nexes. There was a reason you left in the first place, especially if it had to do with your mental health, spiritual health, your kind of person, and manipulation. there is a good enough reason to leave and not turn your back. I mean, do not turn your back, people. Do not turn your back to where you left. Let your ex be there and move on before you turn back and you're this pillar of salt of stagnancy and staying where you were. Ooh. Yeah, but anyways, on a serious note, so there are other reasons that we are like, maybe we'll give him a chance. If it's a silly reason, like he leaves the window open, okay, he likes the air conditioner on, she leaves her nails really long, but it depends on how you're being approached or how you were approached when doing those things that your personal relationship with did not like. So even though those things were trivial, even though those things seem to be little, depends on how the person approached it when you wrote your concern, or how you wrote your concern and the person decided to break up with you. So there's obviously two cases of that person wanted to come back into your life and you wanted to go back to the person's life. People give so many reasons why they were the best thing to ever happen to you, and you sometimes you make reasons for those people why they're the best things to person to happen to you, even though he had his flaws, even though sometimes he really spoke down on me, even though sometimes, but I think I was at fault. I think I really made him upset. I think I shouldn't have said that. I think that's why he was always angry with me. There was this time that he broke his table when I told him that I wasn't going to be able to stay over, but I think I would have said it later. Come on, during that time of our healing process, when you've left your ex, we tend to go through that excuse process as well. So that maybe process also sometimes turn out to be excuse process of, okay, maybe I should have done that, maybe I should have done that. So your next isn't your ex is in the sense of expectations. When you expect your next to have those values, those good values that your ex had, that it becomes an expectation that you built for your next relationship. Does that make sense? Example, your last relationship, he was supportive, she was supportive, but not as supportive enough for you to do certain things that scared you, but you needed to do. He had other things that were really good, but for you that support was really needed because you were trying to break out of a certain place of fear, and he wasn't, or she wasn't giving you that, and you decide, okay, you need to move on, you've broken up with that person, moving on, and this nice guy comes along trying to put your expectations of how your ex was on your next, in maybe how your relationship was. You trying to always say, oh, my ex-girlfriend was like this, or my ex-boyfriend was like this is how he used to do this is how he used to keep the cup, this is how he used to check on me, this is how he looked. Just before I continue, I know someone is like, Ambi, are you sure you're not guilty about this? Well, I'm actually speaking to myself, because sometimes it's good to hear yourself talk about this sort of things, and you get to see that actually it's more about you than about any other person. Sometimes we're tempted to delay our expectations, our hopes and dreams of what we had or thought we had with our ex on our next, and sometimes it's just frustrating for the person to keep hearing over and over again that, okay, this is what I expect, this is what I did, she always checked up on me, she always used the word baby on me, she always called me this is draining. I've seen on Twitter a girl was complaining, shared a screenshot of her conversation with her present boyfriend on how sometimes he calls her the ex's name. That's really, well, not good. But the fact that we tend to keep expecting that our next be how our ex was, whatever reason you left your ex for, don't come to a new relationship expecting those good traits to be in your next. The next is a whole new person. Yes, there might be similarities, but do not make it a point of reminder that, okay, he's totally different, okay, there's some good things about him that can really make the person that you're speaking to or trying to tell him, okay, can you do it this way? Even if you don't say that this is how your ex would behave, this is what your ex did that was good, when it keeps becoming a daily reminder of, what about if you do it this way? Where did you get that suggestion from? Are you suggesting to your present relationship, to your next, that, okay, because this is what you experienced in your past relationship, so your suggestion isn't from a place of newness of mind or what you had or what your motive or what your idea of, it's from a place of, this is what your ex used to be, this is what your ex used to do, this is what your ex used to look like, so you're trying to put that expectation on him. Like I said, it is good to have that expectation of, okay, you want to be treated right, you wanted to give someone peace of mind and be given peace of mind, to grow together with somebody, But when you start approaching love or approaching relationships in the sense of what you have experienced before, maybe your ex used to love flowers, but this person doesn't love flowers, and you love giving people flowers, but your next doesn't like flowers, so you can't expect your next to be your ex. Do you understand? Like, let her love flowers, let him love PS5. He loves reading books, he doesn't like a PS5. But you appreciate the fact that when you saw your ex playing games like PS5 and video games, you really loved it because of how he was into it. Then you see that your next, obviously he's amazing, but that part of him of playing games or maybe going on picnics is different, but you had the expectation of the person. So you start asking him why he isn't like this, or asking her, why don't you do this? Your ex used to wear some shorts, or your ex used to wear some really long maxi dresses, or used to tie her hair up, or maybe flew her hair, painted her nails, or did not paint her nails, and you knew your next does it a little bit differently, and to you that's a problem. You start saying, okay, why don't you try painting your nails? Don't you think you look good like this? Why? Because you're trying to create that physical appearance of how your ex was. The person might be perfect, the person might be behavior wise good for you, your soul, for as a soulmate, but because he doesn't add up so the way, so your next isn't your ex. You can't love a person the same way you love the other person. You can't expect a person to do certain things the same way the other person was doing certain things for you. There might be similarities, but do not make it a point of call or a point of constant reminder to this person. Or maybe you came from a relationship where you guys were always talking to each other, you guys were doing lots of things together, and this new relationship with a great person, and it's not the same way. Maybe the person is quiet, maybe the person doesn't communicate as much, maybe the person takes the person's time to get across their message, or you came from a relationship that the person doesn't really like holding hands. Like, that's how you've come to understand relationship, but not holding hands, and you're like, okay, can you not, like, expectations, laying your expectations from your ex onto your next, when obviously you're meant to take the time to know that person, that new person. There is a reason you want to come into the person's life, not to make a person feel as though they need to change a whole lot to be with you, or you have to make them change who they are to be with you. Like I said, somebody might be watching this and you know me, I'm actually talking to myself, because there are moments that you're talking to yourself that, okay, this is not right, I shouldn't be expecting this is a different person, the person loves different things. That's where the love language is coming, I believe. Trying to understand who your next is from the start. I think that's another stressful thing about relationship. I believe that people like, oh my god, not again, I have to start knowing this person from scratch, what the person doesn't like, what the person likes, what the person is into and whatnot. But it's the joy to get to know somebody, the privilege of the person let into their life, and being let into a person's life as well, knowing the person, what the person likes, who the person is, forgetting what you enjoyed in Egypt and looking at Israel as how Israel is. So forget what you enjoyed in Egypt and look at the honey and milk in Canaan. You get what I'm saying, yeah? Going into a new relationship, your next isn't your ex, and from what I started, your ex isn't your next. But in some cases, he can be or she can be your next when you left a relationship because it wasn't a really tangible reason, or something petty, it was something not strong enough, like I explained. But yeah, that's all I wanted to chat about. I hope I'm not talking too fast. I've been struggling to make this video because my camera has been acting up. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share. Until next time, my name is Andy C. Essen.